People deluded, man. Your favourite YouTuber, the most original in this thing. That's a fact. Fridays equals Q&A day. So before I begin, thank you to everyone who's asked a question. Without you, I can't do this. I'm never going to fake it and invent my own questions. I'm not a waste man. So yeah, Twitter, Snapchat, social media platforms, comments, you lot have hit me up on a range of things, man. Don't stop it coming. If I've missed you out, forgive me. It ain't been on purpose. People that are constantly thinking can vouch for me in that regards. So let's crack on, man. I got it on the lap in front of me like an idiot. So admittedly, people, the font is very small, so I might have to enlarge it. But let's crack on with SSXY, I believe, says, Pep Guardiola, who's a better manager for you, Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho? I hate Jose Mourinho, but arguably to some extent, with less finances, he achieved success at smaller clubs, while Pep Guardiola, to some extent, had Barcelona littered with stars and etc. For me personally, people, I've always hated this. I'm not denying Pep Guardiola's not had money. I mean, he's had money, clearly. That's what I meant to say. He's had money and it has made it easier. But it's almost like some people want this guy to take Leyton Orient to a Champions League final before they rate him. If there's money there to spend, he spent it. And even if you look at this City side, this City side's a good side, but they haven't got the most expensive. Well, they have got one of the most expensive 11s in the Prem, but United's trumps them. Even if you look at the players are all sick. Like Sane, who is he signed? He signed Sane, Bernardo Silva, etc. They're all sick. They don't walk into most sides in the world, or almost every side in the world. But how many of them, especially the young ones, can you really sit and say, all right, they're world class, or they was world class? That some people continue. He finished third or fourth in his first season, second, third, fourth, I can't remember. He's done his thing. Barcelona, yes, he had money and he had Messi, but he had to reinvent to a degree the way they played. He had to reinvent Messi to a degree, making him a false nine. Promoted the likes of Pedro and Busquets. That isn't easy. Made wholesale changes. I'm not saying bust Iniesta and Xavi properly. Obviously, it looks easy, and to a degree, again, I don't think what you're saying isn't warranted, but I do think it is nonsense to a degree when people say that, because for me, Pep Guardiola, I love Jose. He's one of my footballing granddads, like I've told you lot before. I would love to sit down and pick through Jose Mourinho's excellent brain, man, and shout to him for achieving his success at Porto. I think that's the one you're referring to, but Pep Guardiola, my guy. Next, pardon me, Gunner Nation asks, in recent years, Arsenal have always have had a Brazilian in the team. Not too sure how that's true. What do you think of Pedrinho? If you're talking about the Brazilian winger, I've done a video on him. I like him a lot, and I've actually seen that he's been linked with Dortmund. Probably not ready for an elite club yet, but it is what it is in that regards. Mickey Magix asks me, have you ever considered a future in scouting or something like that? I think you could be the next Paul Mitchell. My guy, I would love it, but the scene is the scene, man. I'm liking that a lot of scouts are starting to give me their advice, starting to follow me on my socials. And things like that, and people like I mean, it warms my heart that people like yourself say comments like that, because that is something I would like to do. Like I said, I don't know everything. I've got a long way to go. I've been wrong about plenty of players, but it's definitely something I would love to consider, my guy, man. And when I see comments like that, man, it warms my heart. So thank you very much for that one, my guy. Let me delete these questions so I don't go over it. So big up yourselves. If we just move over now. Who we got now? Antonio asks, a shout out to you. DG, he says, DG, did you read the current comments on Raul Sanllehi and Vinal, can't say that last name, about the transfer policy, the contract situations, and the Arsenal business model? How impressed are you of both talking regularly on a regular basis, open about the future of Arsenal? And do you think Ivan Gazidis alone decided to let Ramsey in his run to his last year of the contract? Well, again, I'm not with any of. To answer the second question, I don't know, my guy. I'm not there at the stadium. I don't know. I can only say Ivan Gazidis, Arsene Wenger, and whoever else was at the club at the time and stuff. Be held accountable, because obviously Wenger doesn't deal with the contracts, but assuming before he wanted to leave or it became public knowledge, we should have been opening contract talks, and obviously Wenger left, and you saw comments like extremely confident about signing a new deal. I mean, compare the language at the start, not let's say during pre-season, especially under Unai Emery, to now. So I think Ivan Gazidis probably wanted to keep him, but in terms of letting players continuously ride into their last years of their contract, like you've seen with numerous, it's a culture thing at Arsenal. In regards to Raul Sanllehi and Vinal, I like what he's saying, in particular Raul, because I think he's real. I like what he said a couple of months ago about contracts in a sense of if their contract's about to run out within the next 3 years, by year 2 you need to know what you want to year 2 or so. I can't remember it word for word, but more or less in good time he said that you need to deal with the contracts. He's also said that he said a lot of good stuff. I've seen the comments they've made and in regards to their transfer policy, and it's all something and nothing. Seeing is believing, in my opinion. We already know Arsenal's business model of self-financing, being self-sufficient. I mean, I've question marks over how we exactly do that, but yeah, man. So that would be my opinion. It's refreshing to hear the club, people talk about the club, and we can actually put names to faces on a regular basis, and people are not either hiding behind Ivan Gazidis or Wenger's shortcomings or the players constantly failing. It's nice to see there's a linear approach, and it's also nice to see that we're promoting internally. We've talked that Mislintat and Farnay, I can't say his name, are going to be promoted into different positions, and I'm so sure I saw Mertesacker promoted into something, not on these lots level, but you get the point. So hopefully I've answered your question. Pot Noodles, another consistent one. Big up yourself. Not to put you on the spot, but out of the current under-21 players around the world, who would you say could win the Ballon d'Or in the future? And also try to stay away from the mainstream players like Kylian Mbappe while answering this question. It makes it more interesting. My guy, how long's a piece of string? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know, my guy. It's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know, my guy, bruv. Allow me. Probably Vinicius Jr. I can't say his name, of Madrid, if you're going to allow me that, but I don't know, man. There's probably someone somewhere in some four corners of the world. Seeing is believing, man. I don't know. I watch a lot of football and things like that, but them sort of levels there, it's impossible to say. Kylian, even seeing Kylian, I thought he'd be a good player, and I thought he would have turned into a real quality player, but I never saw the rapid progress he would make, or to this level. I knew he'd be good, but until they actually do it, you don't know. And that's one thing I mean by when I always saying, Vids, the level I'd like to know football, I'm nowhere near yet, because I'd like to be able to honestly answer that for you one day, but I can't give you a true answer, so why would I lie to you, my guy? Honesty is a big trait of mine in that regard, so I like to think you want my honesty, so love for the question, but I can't give you an answer. Movie and Football 101's asked, do you have a girlfriend? Listen, let's not bait up my thing, get me in some issues and all of these sort of things there, innit? So, yeah, my next question. Shout out to you, my guy, but next question. Don't you try to get man in trouble. Usman asks, hey, mum, I can't even start, hey. Movie, you're killing, man. But, Usman's asked, in a serious note, I found some players that have caught my eye recently. Ibrahim Sangre of Toulouse, he's a decent player. And Samuel Kalou of Bordeaux, both interesting to look at. Do you know anything about them and have you thought of them? I like Sangre. I think I've made a video on him. And Kalou, I've seen a bits and bobs of him. But to give you an honest opinion, an honest outlook, don't really have an opinion on either, to be fair with you. I think they're decent, but past that, I don't really have an opinion, so I won't lie to you. But keep watching them, my guy, and keep feeding in these reports. Khalil's asked, have you ever thought about looking back on your videos ever since you created your channel? I'm not too sure what you mean by that, my guy, but I don't watch myself anymore. I kind of hate it. If you're talking about the progress, then of course, man, I look at the vids that we've started on. I look at some of the comments from the start and all of that, of course. So, man, but yeah, man, I believe in looking back. I must admit, I need to look back a bit more a lot of the time, but yeah, man. Wagner's asked, forgive me, my guy, I can't say your first name. I need to hear you pronounce that, or dumb it down how you pronounce that, my guy. Greetings from Germany, DG. Big up yourself. What do you think of Nahitan Nandez? Are you talking about the Uruguayan central midfielder? I like him. He's decent, man. He's decent. I did think he'd make a step up to a more reputable club, but past that, decent technical qualities, he's decent cultured midfielder, but past that, I don't really have much of an opinion. As you said here, his release clause is 13 million, so that might make him an attractive proposition. Like you said, it would be a steal. I think he's a good player, man. So yeah. You've also asked me my thoughts on Lozano and Memphis Depay. I would take either one. I feel Depay's probably better centrally, or he's at that stage in his career where he wants to play centrally now. Not too sure how that would work at Arsenal. But yeah, Lozano's my guy. I would love Lozano. You've asked me as well, do I think we should extend Monreal's contract? It might be worth renewing it for another year if we're going to mess around over the fullback situation. You've also asked me you've said a lot here, so I've not really there's no point me speaking it all out. I'm just looking at your questions. You've also asked me my opinions on Tagliafico. I must admit, I don't really rate him. I'd love to be proved wrong. He'll have all my backing if he joins the club. But if I remember rightly, and that's the lad that was at the World Cup, I don't want him at my club still. But it is what it is. And finally, you've asked me, how about Fabricio Bustos if we were to part with Lichtstein in the summer? I like him a lot, assuming you're talking about, is he Argentinian? I could be wrong. The Argentinian right back, he was linked with Munich a couple of years ago. Yeah, we'd need to watch him a bit more, but that's a decent shout, my guy. So hopefully I've answered your questions to the level you've wanted it to. So big up yourself all the way from Germany. Guten Tag and all them things there. Kalma's asked me, big up bro, always on point, keep it up man. Thank you very much. You've said, how far do you think we can go this season? I think we should be looking at bringing in a winger in January to keep Nelson out on loan for his development so he can keep playing competitive football. Very, very good shout, man. I agree with you. I want a winger. Probably difficult to get one in January, assuming it's not the bigger names, but who would have thought we would have signed Aubameyang in last winter, to be fair. So I share that thought. We need a winger. I'm torn on Nelson, admittedly. The Arsenal fan in me wants him to come home. The cerebral football man in me says it makes sense for him to stay for the whole period at Hoffenheim. You made a commitment, you follow through on that unless an emergency happens. So that would be my answer to you. Rax has asked, what's your thoughts on the Algerian right back Youssef Attal? I think he's alright, but if I'm honest with you, again, I haven't seen too much of him to give you a proper informed opinion. But he looks, from the clips I've seen, he looks alright. Looks fairly cultured. Looks like he smells danger. Looks like someone that looks competently trying to do their job at fullback. Looks a bit raw and things like that, but in a lot of what he's playing, not sure how much experience he actually has, but he's decent, my guy. I need to do a bit more research to give you my full opinions, but yeah. You've also asked me, excluding PE, what was your favourite subject at school? That's a tough one. It would probably be exclusion or internal exclusion or selling Kit Kats, my guy. Not because I was a bad kid, I just didn't know how to play the game at times, when to understand that someone might be wrong, but they're in a position of power. Just let them stroke their ego, let them feel important, sort of thing. But in regards to subjects, I'd say English. Either RE because of I think it gave me a lot of debate. I'd say English because I somewhat got it. Yeah. What else is there? I don't really, because fave is a big word. I'm trying to. I think that's it. To be fair with you, maybe modern foreign languages, but not because of modern foreign languages. Just because we used to play, fight, and ramp. To be fair with you, I didn't mind drama. Wish I didn't pick it at GCSE level though. But yeah, my guy, that's my thing. And finally, Mayman Uber's asked, a player can let me restart that. He's asked two questions. Firstly, he says, a player you thought would do bad but is playing great at the moment. There's rarely any few players that I thought would be bad, like actual poor. But in terms of, if you're asking me, did I feel they'd have the career possibly that they have now? I'd say Trent Arnold to a degree. I thought he'd be a competent right back. I didn't know he'd be first choice. Iwobi to a degree. Anya on the basis of he's doing his thing at Torino. Yeah, they'd be the good ones. A player that the bad ones that I thought good. Not that I didn't think any of them were bad, but just to answer your question, I don't feel anyone's terrible. Probably Jenkinson would be the only one I'd say that I thought he would be bad here, and I have to say he's good because he survived here. Now he's outlasted Ramsey, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jack Wilshere, etc., Gibbs, etc. So I'd say that. In terms of players that I thought were good or could have had a good career and haven't quite, I'd probably say, scare a few people, but Nasri, he didn't have a bad career. I just felt he could have went down as one of the game's, I wouldn't say greats, but when you think of Premier League or Arsenal or City or wherever he's, France or wherever he's been, Samir Nasri would have come to mind. And obviously he had his issues at Arsenal, he had his issues with the French national team. I would say to a degree, Michael Richards as well. For if you're looking at the 2018 World Cup, there was a few years ago, you would have thought he would have been a shoo-in, and you can't really see him. He had pace, power, and all of the stuff you look for in a defender. He could have been crazy. In regards to Brazilians, I think Victor Andreita, Gabriel, that's came to Europe and joined Inter, but went back to Santos. I'd say Ganso as well, Doria, Ben Arfa. I'd say Mendes as Jeremy Mendes, the French lad. Not because he hasn't had a bad career. I just felt he would have went down as a 31 because he was wanted from 16 years of age by Sir Alex Ferguson and them thing there. So I'd say that. I wouldn't say he's had a bad career, but probably United's Raphael. I thought Fabio and Raphael, I thought that was going to be their thing, but I definitely thought Raphael would have had a better career whether he was at United or not, because I was an aspiring fullback them times, and he used to gas me with the curly hair and stuff like that. But yeah, man, that would be it. All I can do is say thank you for the questions, people. I apologise if I haven't answered it to the level you've wanted it to. I apologise if I've missed you out, and I hope I've given you a lot of good content, but if I haven't, again, I apologise. But for now, people, guys, deluded, comment, subscribe, and do the rest. I'm out. Thank you for watching and rocking with me. People, deluded, I'm back again. Now, you guys typically know on a Thursday morning before I go off, I normally do the Q&A. So, yeah. On a quite silly one from myself, I actually forgot a lot of your questions. I made 2 documents, so I've had to, there's me thinking I'd have a straightforward Friday. I'd get up, just simply have to get ready, leave the house, and then upload when I can. But I've now have to wake up slightly earlier and answer the question you guys have asked me. I'm not going to lie, I thought about leaving it, but that's not the sort of man I am. You lot asked me questions, I have to answer them. So part 2 of sorts, if you could call it that. So let's crack on. It's only a couple of questions, but DJ asks, shout out to him, man. He's always asking stuff and always giving good words of advice, and especially on Twitter. So big up yourself, big man, from across the pond. But he's asked me a couple of questions. Firstly, he's asked me, if you had the choice as a winger, would you go for Martial, Wilfried Zaha, or Bailey? For those who don't know, but Bailey that plays for Bayern Leverkusen. And I must admit, it's a tough one, my guy, because it's a tough one. Zaha, obviously, I'm not going to talk about if Arsenal would pay the 70 million, but Zaha's a good player. He's probably ahead of both of them in terms of his development purely because of his age, if I had to make a random guess. I think Martial is overrated and underrated. It doesn't make sense, but that's for another day. And I think Martial's a big boy in this, so I wanted to say Martial first. But I like Bailey as well. I think he's rough around several edges, but I mean, first Jamaican player that's actually been very good in a while and stuff like that. It's 3 excellent choices, my guy. If I had to rank them, personal bias, I'm gonna say Bailey first, only just, then Martial, and then Zaha. But I'd be more than happy with all 3 or any of them, to be fair with you. You've also asked me, secondly, what is the biggest need in January? Defensive cover, selling Aaron Ramsey to recoup something rather than letting him go in June, or bringing in a winger? My guy, I would say all of them. They're all of equal importance to me, to be honest with you. I'd like to see a centre-half come in, but if we was just to look at the bodies, we'd probably be okay until the end of the season. Winger, we know we need a wide man. If Aubameyang and Lacazette, one of which is typically, if they're both starting together, one is shoehorned on the flanks. If it's not them, we've got Ozil and Mkhitaryan, which although Mkhitaryan can play out wide more so than Ozil, they both want to be the 10 of the team. They want to be the creative hub. They want to come inside, to which it's down to our fullbacks to provide the whip. So we do need a winger. We need a winger that could bring in minimum 5-10 goals, I believe, because again, if it's not Aubameyang and Lacazette, who is scoring in this Arsenal side? Again, stats don't back it up because we've had a range of different goal scorers this season already, but you get the point. Selling Aaron Ramsey would probably be of importance, but then you'd think, are we going to be light in midfield? Let's assume Aaron Ramsey goes, my guy, and let's do the math. So what? If Aaron Ramsey is... don't get me wrong, I'd like to see Aaron Ramsey leave and get some money of it. I've been saying it for months now, but we're at the point where we might as well just bite the bullet. I would love to sell him for 20-25 minimum. Of course, I'd love 40, but it might be a thing where we just have to bite the bullet and just keep him to the end of the season. Because look, Maitland-Niles, Guendouzi, Torreira, Xhaka, El Nene, and I might be missing someone else out. Obviously, Ozil, Mkhitaryan, they can all be, Iwobi to a degree, all be used in midfield, but we'd have 5 midfielders excluding Ramsey. So you'd think we'd have a lot of bodies, to be fair with you. But Maitland-Niles and Guendouzi are still quite inexperienced. Not that Aaron Ramsey plays with, not that Aaron Ramsey's a madness, but I see both sides of the debate. My brain is telling me to sell him, but also my brain is telling me to be a bit cautious because we don't know what's around the corner in terms of injuries and things like that. So they're all of equal importance, but it's difficult to do any of that in January. So I'd say possibly selling Aaron Ramsey and bringing in, whether it's a wing or a defensive cover, and it would be my priority. Probably priority would be getting rid of Ramsey if I could make some money off him, my guy. So hopefully your thing's answered. Ramit asks, are we getting anything in January? Bro, I'd love to be able to tell you, but like you, I don't work for Arsenal. I can just hope. I see the rumours. I can just hope. Seeing's believing. I mean, we got Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang last January. I'm not saying we're going to repeat anything like that, but maybe we'll be active in that regards. I'm not too sure. People, if you can also hear a noise, it's the laptop. I'm reading it off. The process is going mad because I'm actually, while this is going down, something is being encoded. But moving on. Marble Halls asks, is another one. Big up yourself. For England, Wayne Rooney, Harry Kane, Michael Owen or Alan Shearer. I mean, Rooney's the top goal scorer, ain't he? So I'd probably have to say Rooney first. But the first name out of all of them I read would be Owen for me. So I'll go Owen and then Rooney, or Owen or Rooney. Shearer, and then I want to say Kane last because, yeah, for obvious reasons. But at the same time, can I really say Kane last when he got the golden boot? But Sarah's my guy, so I'd probably put Kane last at this moment in time, and it's between Rooney and Owen to be first. I'd probably go with Owen, but then again, Rooney's top goal scorer. So how do you quantify it? That's a good question, and hopefully I've answered it, my guy. Somebody's asked me as well, where's the usernames gone? Apologies, people. A couple usernames have gone, but someone said, if you could sign 3 realistic players for Arsenal, who would they be? I've actually been cheated a bit, and I've put Lobotka of Celta Vigo, if they can be classed as realistic. Lozano, I know, cost 50 million. I don't know what realistic is. And Diallo of Dortmund, I think he's rough around several edges, but I think he's a very decent centre-half, so that would be my options. Sammy Khan's asked, when/if Leon Bailey makes the move, what team should he sign for? It's up to him. I'm not too sure, my guy. I mean, unless it was to be a rapid development that he'd undertake in the next 18 months where he'd be on the level of someone like, I don't know, Kylian Mbappe or something, then he's probably not ready for the Barca's, the Madrids, the PSGs, Munich's actually a good shout because Munich need a winger, to be fair with you. But he's still young and stuff like that, and the expectation that typically follows at these clubs to scrutiny is a lot. So maybe his best advice, staying in Leverkusen for the next year or so, or whatever like that. If he was to leave, I would probably, without being biased, I'd probably say the Arsenals, the Liverpools, Arsenal, Liverpool. I think Chelsea fans would take to him as well. Spurs, if they could. There'd be a lot of every other club. I think every other club just outside the elite, like Juventus. You add Juventus to the elite list. Every club just below that, in my opinion, because you've got to be at a different level. It's not just about ability. Look at Dembele struggles at Barca. He shows some patches, and then you see a lot of scrutiny. So it's a tough one to answer. Sorry. But moving on, Justice 4. Oh, this laptop is making the most noise. Apologies, people. But anyways, it's Justice 4 has asked. He asked me a couple questions. He said, judging by Pep's last clubs, could he turn a side like Arsenal into the champions? I'm starting to think he follows the money. You'd be entitled to think that. I mean, there's no escaping. He spent a lot of money, but I do think to a degree that's slightly lazy. Barcelona, he had to have serious balls, whether they're declining or not. He had to have serious balls to drop several of them stars, Ronaldinho and stuff like that. Reworked the whole team, revamped the whole team, put Messi up front more or less, get the best out of Xavi and Iniesta. You saw Dani Alves develop, you saw him get the best out of PK and stuff like that. So it wasn't all plain sailing. Of course, money makes it easier, and people are praising him at City and saying he spent a lot of money on these things, and it's all correct. But United have spent more, and all of his players are playing City. But all of these players he signed, when have they been, like, until they've actually played for City to a degree, none of these players were classed as world class. Kevin De Bruyne was never classed as world class. He was a great talent, a top class talent when he was in Germany. Nobody said he's top 5 in the world, and he's developed. Definitely didn't say the same about Raheem Sterling, Sane, Gab Jesus. These are not world class players. He's getting results out of them, and he's helping them develop, and I rate that enough. And it weren't even a walk for. He didn't walk the league. I mean, he didn't win it the first time. So it's not fair on him, because he has signed a young side. He has developed players as well. Of course, he's still got money and things. I'm not excusing that, but he still had to do a lot, to be fair, man. And it is a bit, I mean, what are you going to do, man? He's probably at peace with that he's always going to have to get comments like that, but it is what it is. You've also put, leading on from that question, do I think that Pep Guardiola, as long as he's here, City will win the league? On one hand, yes, because they look unstoppable, but on the other hand, no, because I'm not too sure if the premise a thing like that where you can dominate for years on end and be like a PSG to the rest of the French league clubs or Bayern Munich typically or whatever. I'm not too sure if that happens. And everybody says these things. They can win every league title for the next X amount of years. They can go unbeaten in the league until something actually happens. So I don't know to answer that question, my guy, but seeing's believing. You've also put, can posh white barbers cut black hair? I suppose a good barber can cut anybody's hair, to be fair with you, my guy. So hopefully that answers that question. Somebody's, again, the usernames are gone, but someone's asked me for my starting 11 outside the top 6. That's a tough one, man. You've put me on the spot. Let me look at, I need to go on the internet for that, man. I need to look at some of the sides. That's a very good question, man, and they're the sort of questions I live for. But I need to look at the Premier League table to get my creative juices flowing. But I think if West Ham are not in the top 6, I'm gonna go with Fabianski in goal. Alright, cool. So top 6. United are not in the top 6, my guys. So I'm gonna go. I need to write this down, man. You put me on the spot. So I'm gonna go DDG, Chilwell, Maguire. We're gonna go Lascelles. Nah, Ake. Nah, you know what? Ake, you're gonna do a job for me. You're gonna go right back. Lascelles. Ake's gonna do a job. Midfield, we're gonna go Neves. We're gonna put Zaha in up top. We're gonna go Richarlison as well. We've got Neves. What Watford man can I put in here? What Watford man? Not really too much. What strikers? Leicester. Chilwell's already there for bigging up Leicester. I'm gonna go into 10. Felipe Anderson. 2 spots up front and a midfield. Bloody hell, but this is hard. Not really feeling no one like that, man. There's not really anyone to feel like that. Striker. I'll put Seri of Fulham, to be fair, in midfield. I'm just missing a striker. I want to say Vardy, but I don't really believe in that one there. You know what? Richarlison, you can go up front for me. And I'm going to go with Adama. So, putting me on the spot, I might change it. And I want to bring in some Bournemouth players now. But you put me on the spot, my guy. And I've come up with, you got to allow me, De Gea in goal. Ake is going to fill in at right back. Harry Maguire at centre-half with Lascelles of Newcastle. Chilwell at left-back. Seri, Neves and Felipe Anderson, my midfield trio. Up front, we've got Adama Traore, Richarlison and Wilfred Zaha. You put me on the spot, my guy. That's a very good question, man. Big up yourself for that. But and lastly, I think last, forgive me, I'll try to not miss anything out. But KB's asks, who do you think will win the Champions League and the Europa? It's a tough one, my guy. Something tells me it might be a Juventus or a Barcelona one. They've got Allegri wants it. He's now got Cristiano Ronaldo. He's going to have to go after it properly. Barcelona look hungry. I'm not too, but other than that, I'm not too sure. Anything can happen, man. Anything can happen, and I'll probably change my opinion. I always respect Madrid, regardless of what's happening, because how many years they've been winning champs in a row now. So got to respect them. In regards to Europa League, I'll probably be wrong, but I'm only going to go with the club in it that matters. It's Arsenal. Obviously, you've got Chelsea in it. Hope to God PSG and these sort of sides that look like they could possibly drop into it don't drop into it, because it's a bit mad. But I'm going to go with Arsenal and Barcelona, to be fair, respectively. Arsenal, Europa, Barca for the champs, obviously. But people, thank you very much. Obviously, apologies if your questions mentioned in here. I almost missed it out, but you guys know I tried my best in it. So, yeah, I'm probably going to have to, it's going to take longer for this to come out now. I'm going to have to edit it and slap them both into one. But, oh, crap. Guys, deleted, man, I'm out.